Hey guys, it's Magma Cleric here, and I want to say, wow. It really truly has been one entire year of making videos for cool ass people like you. And I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you all for subscribing and watching. And let's check out this little video from... Welcome everybody to the first ever top 10 episode of the M&M show. What's today's top 10 episode?
Top 10 badasses in period.
According to us. This is Marcus.
This is mine.
Let's kick it. Number 10. Okay, that's enough of being interrupted by a badly sounding microphone. But that was a year ago, and you can click on the annotation up top to see our video. And if you want me to redo that video, I will. This show was possible thanks to my friend Mike and myself, aka Magma Cleric and Hamster Rex. So with that being said, enjoy the video of top 10 hardest SNES games. Hello everybody, Magma Cleric here, bringing you a very special video on a very special day. Today marks 1 year that the M&M Show's channel has been up and running. A year ago today, the M&M Show was founded by Hamster Rex and Magma Cleric, aka me and my best friend Mike. Now, I want to say that we've been up through some ups and downs, and now it's just the Magma Cleric channel. And I want to say thank you to everybody who has subscribed, everybody who has liked our videos, everything. We really truly did put our heart and soul into each video just to make it for you guys. But other than that, enjoy the top 10 hardest SNES games for me to beat. Servbot, roll the footage and hit the lights. It's time to kick it. Alright folks, to kick off this list is Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy Kong's Quest. That's right, I'll admit it. This one is easier for a lot of people, but to me, this was one of the harder games of the trilogy, and I just found it really hard out of all three of them. Actually, I found it more difficult than the first one and the third one. With that being said, the gameplay is spot on, and the difficulty in it is what really got me. The way the levels were designed, the way they played out, it was just awesome. But that's the thing with this. It was hard, but it wasn't too hard for me to beat. It only took me maybe 3 months to beat. So with that being said, that's why it's only at number 10 and not higher. number 9, Mega Man X. Are you serious right now? I am actually very dead serious. I was good at the Mega Man games themselves, and when Mega Man came to the Super Nintendo and did Mega Man X, that's where I kind of fell. I found it a lot harder than the original games, and that's about it. It took me about maybe another 3 months to beat this one. The gameplay is very good. Sometimes the controls could be stiff. I hear a lot of people call them fluent, but to me they were very stiff at some points in the game. The difficulty is definitely there. This represents a Super Nintendo hard, as I like to call them. And other than that, it was just downright simply an amazing game to play. The bosses, the stages, everything changed on this game when they moved it to the Super Nintendo, which I gladly thank them for. But it is more difficult for me to play when I was a child, and I have to admit something. I never found all of the armor pieces. So yeah, let's move on, shall we? Okay, so I recently acquired this one. So at number 8 is Super Star Wars for the SNES. That's right, Super Star Wars. And I will classify this as more of a annoying hardness to it. So with that being said, let's dive into why I call it an annoying hard game. Alright, so the enemies, they take forever to kill. When you go into your car mode, the little hover thing, you get lost and it takes just very little hits to destroy your hover car. And on top of that, I mean, it's just generally hard. You have bad guys popping out of the most randomest spots. And like I said, it takes them forever to die. You know, the bosses, I don't even talk about the bosses. I've died on them so many times, it's not even funny. And you don't even get your lightsaber until way later in the game. Now, with all that being said, the gameplay is very nice. The story mode is basically the first movie with some variations and whatnot. But basically, this game is more annoying hard than it is hard, which is why it took me about 6 months to actually fully beat. And that's on the original Super Nintendo with no saves. So with that being said, this makes my list on annoyingest hard games I've ever played. So let's move on to number 7. Okay, so at number 7 is the good old-fashioned SNES classic Final Fight. That's right, folks. Final Fight was a hard game for me to beat, but I eventually beat it. And I have to say, out of all the beat 'em ups I've played, which I've played a lot, this, quite frankly, is still the hardest one for me to beat. This game, basically, I'm not good at beat 'em ups. Let's just put it that way. I'm terrible at beat 'em ups, but this one at least was fun for me. It was a fun, competitive, kept me coming back, wanting to try my best to keep going and beat the game. Now, the story is that the Mad Gear Gang has kidnapped Mike Hagar daughter, Jessica, which is Cody's girlfriend. So it's up to Cody, his best friend Guy, and the professional wrestler, Mike Hagar. Oh yeah! To rescue Jessica from the Mad Gear Gang. The levels are awesome. The whole design of them really truly shines through. This is one of the best SNES games out there. It also is one of the hardest SNES games out there. It has literally taken me, I want to say, 8 months to beat this game. And yeah, but the downfall is it can sometimes get slow. The enemies get repetitive. Sometimes the enemies can be too hard and you just get pummeled to death, just like that you see on the screen now. And it's fun, but it's challenging. But it's a highly recommended game, so pick it up. At number 6 is X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. This game is so freaking hard, it's unbelievable. You get 5 mutants, which is Psylocke, Gambit, Cyclops, Beast, and Wolverine. And you have to go through these missions and beat the game. And trust me, it is not that easy to do. This game will literally teach you the meaning of dodge! Thank you. Thank you, Surfbot, for interrupting me. Anyways, yes, this game will teach you the meaning of dodge. Because if you don't, you will die numerous times. This game is quite possibly the reason why I might be losing my hair. I've pulled my hair so many times. And it goes from good hard to challenging hard to downright aggravating hard. It's just, this game is downright a fun game, challenging, sometimes aggravating, but it's worth the pickup. So highly suggest picking this copy of this SNES game up for your collection. Okay, so at number 5, I quite possibly have a game that was the hardest game on the NES, and when it went to the SNES, it became one of the hardest games on the SNES, and quite frankly, it deserves every bit of it. That's right, it's Contra III, Alien Wars. This game is uber hard, harder than the first one on the NES and the second one. This game quite possibly is just crazy. I can't say anything else about it, but it's crazy. This game, from the time it picks up to the time it ends, is just insanely hard. This is one of the games that's insane hard. Not like, oh god, it's challenging. No, it's like insanely challenging hard. And it took me about a good 1.5 years to beat this game. That's how challenging it was. Oh, and there is no Konami code for this one. So you're basically on your own. So yeah. Other than that, the controllers are pretty tight. And the graphics on it are superb for a Super Nintendo. I mean, what can you expect from a Super Nintendo other than greatness? Alright folks, coming in at number 4 is quite possibly the best SNES game for the SNES. Some people call it a remake. I like to call it a whole new experience. And that is Super Metroid. This game is awesome. From its epic dungeons, to the bosses, to the enemies themselves. I've found them generally awesome. The story is kind of the same as the NES, but other than that, this game is freaking hard. And it's not hard to the unforgiving. It can be to a lot of newer people who are new to the series, but this game, oh my god, is hard. Especially if you don't find all the upgrades. Oh yeah, if you don't find all the upgrades, it's hard to kill some of them bosses. I know that for a fact. Other than that, this type of Metroid is very good. It spawned a lot of Castlevania Metroids, as they like to be called, but that's another story for another topic. Other than that, great graphics. The sound on it is excellent. The music for it, oh my god, will blow you away. But other than that, controls are tight, the visuals tight, and it took me about 1.5 years to beat. So another good one, but still got 3 more to go. So hang in there. At number 3 is EarthBound, one of the hardest RPGs for the SNES, for me at least. This game roughly took me 2 years to beat. That's right, it took me 2 years to beat. Other than that, the storyline's good on it. You get a bunch of different characters. The townsfolks are really weird. The enemies are weird but extremely tough. And as I said, this is, for me, one of the hardest RPGs on the SNES that there is. I mean, it's harder than the Final Fantasies that came out on it. Gasp! No, he didn't. I did. I actually easily beat the Final Fantasies that came out on the SNES. But other than that, this one is very good. It took me roughly 2 years to actually beat it, and that was with the help of a guidebook. Moving on to number 2. Gasp again! The Adventures of Batman and Robin as your number 2 hardest SNES game for you to beat? Yes, this game, due to its difficulty, even on easy, and its bad controls, were horrible. I mean, it's a good Batman game, but it's so freaking hard. And again, another beat 'em up. And it took me literally 2.5 years to get past the roller coaster part. And when I did, it got relatively easy, I want to say, but not super easy. So with that being said, this game is freaking hard. The controls sometimes can be lackluster, and the sound is good. The visuals look straight from the cartoon, and the enemies are tough, real tough. And as I said, the roller coaster ride took me 2.5 years to beat that. So yeah, it's a fun game. Recommendation of picking it up. Alright folks, we're almost done with the list, but before we get done and reveal number 1, let's go ahead and hit the good old fashioned recap. So everybody, roll it! Alright, coming in at number 10 is Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy Kong's Quest. At number 9 is Mega Man X Save the Future. Number 8, Super Star Wars. Number 7, Final Fighter. Number 6, X-Men Mutant Number 5, Contra III Alien Wars. Number 4, Super Metroid. Number 3, EarthBound bitches. Number 2, The Adventures of Batman and Robin, the boy one. Alright guys, you should have guessed it by now. My number 1 is Demon's Crest. Quite possibly one of the most underrated SNES games out there. You don't see a whole lot of reviews about it. You don't see a whole lot of videos about it. But damn is it good, and it deserves the spotlight. My number 1 is one of the hardest SNES games out there for the SNES library. This game literally took me 5 years to beat. Then again, I was young at the time and not so good at games, and this is one of the very first SNES games I played, and to this day it is one of the hardest SNES games I've ever played. The gameplay is very difficult. The bosses can range from challenging to annoying, quite frankly. Sometimes they can be a little bit too annoying and kill you in just a couple of hits. But then again, if you get all the stones and whatnot, it gets pretty easy, which sometimes can be a bummer if you go ahead of that boss and beat the other boss and get its stone and go back and beat that boss easily, which I didn't figure that out in time, so it took me 5 years to beat. But hey, I beat it, and it's one of the best soundtracks for an SNES classic. I mean, just listen to it. It's freaking amazing. This soundtrack blows almost every other SNES classic out there. Well, that's gonna wrap up top 10 hardest SNES games for me to beat. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, subscribe and like this video. I'm the Magma Cleric, and I'm kicking it out.